Geelong pull down the pants of the Brisbane Lions to book their ticket in the AFL Grand Final for 2022.
Sydney win a thrilling prelim at the SCG to go through to the last dance.
And speaking of the last dance, this is the last ever episode of the DrewFooty Show, and I'm not happy about it.
I'm thrilled.
Get out of it. And for the last time, this is the DrewFooty Show.
Nice.
Hey, long road, took a tumble down this black hole. Stuck in Sunday league, but I'm on levels with
Oh, I'm sad. Hello, you plonkers, and welcome back to the DrewFooty Show. We've been on a hiatus. Jesse was meant to go to Ibiza, but didn't. He was touring Europe, and he's come back, not followed football, and I've thought, you know what, we're cancelling the show. It's over. No, that's not really how it went down. But how are we going, Jesse? We haven't recorded in a while together, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's been a nice, refreshing break. That was a weird segue about Ibiza. But I'm back, and I'm thriving. So, hi.
Not much like the DrewFooty Show. This is the last ever episode, Jesse. There would have been probably like 30 to 40 episodes, tens of thousands of views, new plonkers coming on board, the merging of Drewzy and DrewFooty to make DrewFooty. But now we are parting ways for bigger and better things. And we'll get on to why all of this is happening. But first, we always started off with Bloke of the Week. And this week, Jesse, the Bloke of the Week, it's DrewFooty. It's us, baby. We made it. We won the award on our own show. we actually got voted by Matt McCann, Huntsman, and Freo Hub, three elder statesmen of the DrewFooty Show. I don't even know what that means.
I think it works.
Anyway, so the question on anyone's lips, Jesse, is why is the show ending? Coming from Jordan Marinovich _ What's your side of it? Why do you not like me anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've been a duo for a couple of years now, but after a while, the spark kind of goes. There's no more intimacy, and I think we decided to go our separate paths.
Yeah, the AIDS was a real no-brainer to walk away from.
Yeah, it really ruins the sex.
Hashtag definitely not gay. No, the real answer to that question is just Jesse's too old now, and he's getting arthritis, so he can't call me or start a camera anymore. That's why he doesn't upload on DrewFooty anymore. Isn't that right, buddy?
I'm nearly 29 and didn't get offered another contract, so I'm being replaced by the young and up-and-coming UCAT for 2023.
That is also not true.
Starting a rebuild.
So what's actually happening is I'm moving to England I'm not saying when because I'm trying to surprise some people over there, but I'm moving to England by the end of the year, let's just say. So next year I won't be in Australia, so it'll be a lot harder to film the DrewFooty Show. And to be honest, Jesse, I've been fucking pulling you along to these every week, dragging you out of the depths of your depression to be here. So I've had enough. I'm moving to the other side of the world, get away from you and your AIDS.
Yeah, you've been pulling me onto the show. You've been pulling me off. I'm just getting back onto those people that you're going to surprise. I really hope they're not the people that you intend to live with.
No, they're not.
Surprise!
For fuck's sake, what's he doing here? Go home.
On that question, Drews, there's another question by, it's either Theodore Sav or the Odor Sav. Stinky. What will you be doing in the UK, you plonker? Getting plonked? ?
Precisely getting plonked. No, I've just been at high school and then straight into uni, so I've just been institutionalized for so long. I just want to break out of the shackles and go live my life a little bit. So I've got family in the UK that I'm going to go live with for a bit. I want to crack into the YouTube scene over there. I could potentially be a whole different YouTuber this time next year. It could be bonkers, fingers crossed. But yeah, just making YouTube videos and just traveling, really, living my life. Just not being someone that just exists for the point of existing, you know? I want to live a little bit. Know what I'm saying? That's about it, really.
Did you hear that Jamo and Dylan are going on Cal Freezy's podcast?
Yes.
Okay. Then that is not an interesting story.
I knew that a few weeks ago. He was like,
okay,
something massive on. Yeah, I'm in the loop, bro. I actually went and had lunch with Jamo the other day.
Oh, true. You did too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm relevant.
Sean, turn it down! I've got a funeral!
Are you talking about this?
Yeah. And the last one before we get into the football comes from a guest of the show, the Port Pair, who wants to know, what's been your favourite DrewFooty show? Definitely not the one where you gave me AIDS. To be honest, for me, like, all of the Drew Footy shows sort of merge into one. Like, we usually film it late on a Monday night. Jesse usually sends me fucking ages to send me the clips, and I'm up at 11:30 like, for God's sake, Jesse, send me the bloody clips, bro, so I can get this out tomorrow.
They're like 3 gigabytes. That's why it takes a while.
3 gigabyte my nuts off, you bitch.
Terabyte out of my ass.
I sort of found that the episodes where we prepared the least and we'd like be on the call before filming and be like, I have no idea what we're about to talk about, they'd always be the ones that were the most funny because we just have to talk absolute nonsense.
Then you're going to love this one.
Today's one will be good. Yeah.
I think my favourite one, and they're all so memorable, but I think the last one we did, was it the pre-grand final? One with Caden and the pair?
Yep, that was the grand final preview last year.
Yeah. That was a goodie.
The biggest Drew Footy show of the year. We've got Jesse.
And I'm Jesse.
We've got Caden. Hello. And we've got the most sexy man in all of AFL YouTube, Jesse. We've got the pair in the house as well. Jesse
again.
Oh, the intros, they've been great fun. The outros, the Star Wars references. It's all been a great ride, the old Drew Footy show. So it's sad, but we're going to wrap it up with talking about football, which is surprisingly what the Drew Footy show is about, believe it or not. Crazy, I know.
It's funny to look back on some of the earlier ones like we were doing not that long ago and laughing at how ridiculous they were. I feel like we've actually gotten tamer. The early days ones were pretty raunchy.
Oh, mate, there's always a little stank of raunch in thereabout somewhere. Like, you'll just pull something out of your bag.
There's something wildly inappropriate in every episode.
Yeah, if you dig deep enough. People aren't usually watching by the 23-minute mark. But anyway, enough about us. People are here to listen to the football because, believe it or not, it's the biggest week of the bloody season right now, Jesse. Grand Final week. And what we do on the Drew Footy Show usually, I forgot how we run this show, but we talk about the games, review them, and then talk about the next week's games. So we're going to talk about the prelims first, Jesse. We had Geelong versus Brisbane, an absolute... It sort of is a clash of the Titans, but the result did not show that. Brisbane coming into it with a massive win over Melbourne. And I said to you before the game, God, they're going to go into this with some belief, aren't they? And all that belief was popped like a balloon at a 10-year-old's birthday party. And he went to his mama crying because Geelong tore Brisbane a hole. I noted it before half-time, so pretty much call me Nathan Buckley. But the scores off turnover that Geelong were forcing were the clear difference in the game for me. They were forcing the turnover and then slinging the ball back down their way in the blink of an eye. They used the corridor very well, which is the most damaging area of the ground, to use the football. And I had an interesting comment on my 9 things we learned from a Brisbane Lions fan, saying that the Brisbane defenders, they're all just like tall, big and strong, but they don't have much like dynamic defenders down there. I think someone like Wilmot, who they've just added in, sort of provides that, but Rich is a bit slow. Zorko, when he plays at halfback, pretty slow. Both good kicks, but they don't really have any like real speed off the halfback or massive athleticism other than Harris Andrews, obviously. But the Brisbane season is done. Geelong, they're humming heading into the grand final. Hawkins and Dangerfield playing massive parts in the win. 2 of the veterans of the club. Now you go.
Elder statesman, one might say.
So this is what happens. I run out of things to say and then I go, and now over to you, Jesse, go.
And you've covered the entirety of the entire game. All right. No, we watched this game together, obviously on the stream, and it felt like Brisbane were competitive for about a quarter, and then their resistance broke and it ended up being 71 points in the end. And I mean, it's a weird season to reflect on for Brisbane because they missed the 4 but won a final and went deep and won a big final at that at the MCG. So it's kind of bittersweet in a sense. And unfortunately, Mitch Robinson retiring as well. But they're going to replenish their list with guys like Dunkley and Will Ashcroft in the draft, Jasper Fletcher, another highly rated kid. So there's a bright future still for Brisbane, even though they've still got a pretty experienced list.
Potentially Jack Gunston as well are the latest
That's
whispers.
Right. I couldn't think of who it was on my podcast, but it was Gunston.
But I think they've already just about got the list quality to go all the way. They've been right up there for the last few seasons. I reckon Chris Fagan could be on the chopping block next year if results don't go their way because they've got all the talent in the world but still haven't been able to punch through to that grand final. We'll continue to talk about Geelong when we discuss the grand final, but we'll move on to the other prelim, which was, of course, Sydney versus Collingwood. A much better game of football. Two of the highest pressure rated teams in the competition. You knew this was going to be fireworks. But Sydney's pressure, they are number one. Collingwood are number two. And Sydney's pressure came out on top in the early stages of the game. Collingwood couldn't really get a chain from back to front, from the back line to the forward line, if you will. Because Sydney's pressure was just so immense. And Sydney's defenders, the McCartan brothers and Robbie Fox in particular, did a great job on the key forwards of Collingwood. Ash Johnson, Brodie Myercheck and Mason Cox. Their impact on the game was pretty much non-existent, to be honest. And then you've got Rampy, Lloyd and Blakey down there. So they are a very solid defensive unit, made it a tough task to kick goals for the Collingwood boys. And if you were a logical man, you would say, Sydney win this comfortably from here. But Collingwood have defied logic all season long. They crumb a few goals together, and out of nowhere, they're back within a kick. They get a few entries in the last quarter. They had their chances to win this game. They missed a few really gettable set shots, but they fell short by a point. It's ironic how all of the games that they've won this season by less than a goal or two kicks, whatever, the amount of hurt that they've caused, it almost all adds up for them to experience the same thing that they've been dishing out all year, but in the prelim final on a much bigger stage. But Collingwood, they're in great nick for the future. They're already back into a premiership window after a lame season in that year where Buckley got sacked. They're ready to rock and roll again and push for a flag in the next few years. Jesse, your turn.
Hi, I'm still here.
Talk about the football game.
All right. Yeah, it was a very good game. Sydney got out to a comfortable lead, and if you were a betting man, you'd say that they were going to win the game comfortably, but Collingwood came back and made it just 1 point. Unfortunately, they were just a bit inaccurate. But in all seriousness, one thing that stood out for Collingwood once again was just their running power late in the game. They were 6 goals down when McInerney kicked that goal, and they just started to run over the top of Sydney. And I think what was critical for Sydney throughout the game was like every time Collingwood would goal, Sydney would win the next clearance and either score or go close, and they couldn't allow Collingwood to get a chain of multiple goals very often at all. So they're lucky in a sense that there was not more time left in the game, because you felt another 5 minutes and it would be Collingwood playing this week. So I don't know how much of it is just that they coasted or they generally ran out of legs. But either way, Collingwood just left themselves too much to do.
I can never put my finger on what makes the Swans good. There's never any standouts in this side. Like, it is such a well-balanced side from back to front with a mixture of youth and experience contributing. There's never, like, anyone that takes over a game. It's such a, like, unified effort from the Swans, and it'll hold them in good stead in the grand final, which we will move on to right this second, Josiah. We've got a question here from Sammy Norts, 14. And he wants to know, what key factors will dictate who wins the grand final? I'll allow you to go first.
I'm interested to see what the weather's going to do, because I think if it's wet...
The weather.
Yeah, the weather. It will be a little bit. It might not necessarily dictate the winner, but it will certainly dictate how the game's played. And if it's a wet, dour affair, then I think that plays into Geelong's strengths. If it's good conditions for football, I think that either way, I think Geelong will be able to handle that. But Sydney's running style and their really fast ball movement will come into play as well. And be interesting to see how the key forwards go. I feel like every key forward on the ground, Hawkins, Cameron and Franklin, are good enough to play well regardless of conditions. So they're a hard team. They're hard teams to sort of compare, because I think they're both the best or close to the best offensive and defensive teams. Like, they're ranked 1 and 2 in a lot of the key stats. So it's quite an interesting battle we've got on our hands. What are the key factors? I don't know. I'll say weather for now. What else have you got?
I'm a real football analyst, bro, so I'm going to chime in with Sydney need to block the corridor of Geelong. We saw that transition that Geelong had against Brisbane. Their ability to move the ball from their half-back line into the hands of Tom Hawkins was lightning quick. So they need to be careful with the ball, obviously. Be careful with the ball, boys. Don't give it to the opposition. Just be careful off the turnover. And if the ball is turned over, make sure that the corridor is blocked to halt the counterattacks that Geelong have.
Both of these sides have not lost for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, Geelong are undefeated since round 9, and Sydney are undefeated since the 2nd of July. So it's been a while since we've seen either team, like, picked apart.
And it's not even like you can just say, oh, stop Buddy, because you look at the goal scorers in the prelim on the weekend. It was like all of Sydney's midfielders scored a goal. Buddy had like 2 and Papley had 3, but other than that, it was a very well-balanced effort, like I mentioned before. So how do you stop Sydney? I don't know what strategies coaches use to reduce the pressure in games, but that seems to be Sydney's biggest strength, the pressure to force the turnover. So, I don't know. Chip Mark. I'm not a coach. But it was a good question. It was a thinker.
I think goals from the midfield will be important too, because even though I just sort of talked up the tools, I feel like it's been a while in a grand final that we've seen a key forward, even some of the best to play, have really been massively instrumental.
Bailey Fritsch.
Yeah, I wasn't counting him as a key forward, even though he plays tall. But obviously, yeah. I mean, that being said, they also won that game by 70 points. So I can't see this not being close. I think it'll be like.
And before you answer that, we're going to get on to our next question, which is from Brody Allen. He wants to know our grand final first goal, winner, margin, and Norm Smith.
First goal, Tyson Stengel.
I'll go Luke Parker. Wait, that's what I wanted to say for the Norm Smith, though. Rats.
He can't possibly do both.
Winner. Who have you got? I'm going to say Geelong get it done by 9 points. I reckon it'll be close.
You've stole that. You've seen the podcast that I filmed today and haven't uploaded yet. I also
Did you actually say
I have Geelong by 9 points, yeah.
As if. Great minds think alike, mate.
Let's do another season.
Yeah, we should do a footy show together. And Norm Smith, who are you going to say?
I will say Tom Stewart for the Cats. But
cool.
I want to throw up a Sydney one if they win. I reckon someone like Chad Warner.
Yep, I rate that. Will be interesting to see if such a youngster can stand up in a big game like that. I'm going to say Jeremy Cameron wins it. I feel like he didn't have a good game last week, so he's just due to kick a bag of goals. Give a key forward to Norm Smith. It's been a while off the top of my head. Can't really remember, to be honest. And I'll go Luke Parker. Just a classic midfield, getting it done.
You could go for same person kick first goal and Norm, because that actually happened last year with Petrarca. Fun fact or not?
What do we usually do at the end of the show?
And this was the DrewFooty Show.
Oh, so is this it, buddy?
It sure is, buddy.
No, I'm upset.
Enjoy San Francisco.
I'm not going there.
Come on.
No, but honestly, thank you very much, Jesse. This show has been great fun. We've hung out, spoken a lot. Our friendship has bloomed and then been torn apart by AIDS, but it was fun whilst it lasted.
That is the 4th AIDS reference you've made in this. People are going to start thinking it's not a joke anymore.
It's not. No, you took me under your wing last season. We started this show, and yeah, it's trained my ability to talk on camera a lot. It's grown my channel massively, and I owe all of that to you. So thank you very much, my good friend.
Thanks, mate. You give me too much credit there. You've obviously come a long way, and I can't really take any of the credit for that. You've done a great job, and I'm just here for the eye candy, to be honest. I'm not even really offering much at this point, other than my handsome looks
and the Star Wars quotes. Hit it.
Star Wars quotes. Yeah. Unlimited power.
That's it. There it is. Curtains close on the DrewFooty Show. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the series whilst it lasted. Maybe we'll be back one day in a different capacity, but we don't know these things. We don't live in the future. We're not robots or aliens. Anyway, thank you for joining me tonight, Jesse. Make sure those clips come nice and fast.
Thank you, my queen. May you come nice and fast.
Not with AIDS, I won't. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, you plonkers.
You know what would be actually a really good idea for a podcast? A Port Adelaide and Palpatine crossover, and it should be called Unlimited Power. I'll leave that one with you. All right, now I'm done.